What if I told you that one of history's most celebrated explorers might never have set foot in a land that made him famous? That the man who introduced Europe to the wonders of China may have spun the greatest travel hoax of all time from the comfort of a Constantinople trading post? Welcome to the mystery of Marco Polo, a story so riddled with impossibilities, omissions, and contradictions that it has sparked 7 centuries of scholarly warfare. The merchant's son who defied death. Picture this. It's 1271, and a 17-year-old Venetian boy stands at the edge of the known world. Marco Polo, son of a modest merchant family, is about to embark on a journey that would either make him the most famous traveler in history or the most successful liar who ever lived. His father, Niccolo, and uncle Mafio, had already completed one impossible journey to the court of Kublai Khan, the Mongol emperor who ruled the largest contiguous empire in human history. But here's where the story gets strange. They claim the Khan specifically requested they return with this teenage boy. Why would the ruler of half the world care about one Italian teenager? The answer lies in what Marco Polo would later claim happened next. A tale so extraordinary that many historians today believe it's physically impossible. The journey that shouldn't have existed. The Polos claimed they traveled over 5,000 miles across the most dangerous terrain on Earth. They supposedly crossed the scorching Taklamakan Desert, where entire caravans vanished without trace. They allegedly navigated the roof of the world, the Pamir Mountains, where oxygen is so thin that even today, experienced climbers struggle to survive. But here's the first hook that should make you suspicious. Not a single contemporary Chinese or Persian source mentions their passage. For a journey that would have taken 3 years and required the cooperation of dozens of local rulers, merchants, and guides, this silence is deafening. Even stranger, Marco Polo's account contains glaring omissions that suggest he never actually witnessed what he claimed. He never mentions the Great Wall of China, arguably the most impressive sight any medieval European would encounter. He never describes Chinese tea ceremonies, despite tea being central to Chinese culture. Most damning of all, he never once mentions Chinese foot binding, a practice so widespread and distinctive that no genuine observer could have missed it. The emperor's favorite foreigner? According to Marco Polo, upon reaching China, he didn't just meet Kublai Khan, he became one of his most trusted advisors. The teenager from Venice allegedly served as a governor, diplomat, and special envoy for the most powerful man on Earth for 17 years. This claim is so audacious, it's breathtaking. Kublai Khan ruled over 100 million subjects and commanded the loyalty of the world's most sophisticated bureaucracy. Yet we're supposed to believe he entrusted crucial missions to a foreign teenager who could not even speak fluent Chinese. Chinese court records from this period are remarkably detailed. They meticulously document the appointments, missions, and daily activities of court officials. Yet Marco Polo appears in none of them. Not once. For someone supposedly so influential, this absence is like finding no record of a Secretary of State in White House archives. The mysterious manuscript, but here's where the story takes its most intriguing turn. Marco Polo never actually wrote his famous book. The account we know as the Travels of Marco Polo was dictated to a Romance writer named Rustichello da Pisa, while both men were prisoners of war in Genoa. Rustichello wasn't a historian or a geographer. He was a professional storyteller who specialized in Arthurian fantasies and chivalric adventures. His job was making fiction sound real and mundane events seem magical. Does this sound like the ideal person to record history's most important travel account? The manuscript itself raises more questions. It exists in over 100 medieval versions, many containing wildly different details. Some describe creatures and customs that appear nowhere else in literature. Others include precise geographical information that matches no known medieval maps. It's as if multiple people kept adding their own embellishments to an already questionable story. The evidence that doesn't add up. Modern forensic analysis of Marco Polo's claims reveals a pattern of impossibilities. His descriptions of Chinese currency, government structure, and military organization contain details that would not be available to any European until centuries later yet. They also include errors that no actual observer would make. For instance, he correctly describes the use of paper money in China, something unthinkable to medieval Europeans. But he incorrectly states that all Chinese people worship idols, missing entirely the sophisticated philosophical traditions of Confucianism and Taoism that any court insider would have encountered daily. He provides accurate distances between certain cities' information that wouldn't appear on European maps for generations. Yet he places some of these same cities in completely wrong geographical relationships to each other. Mistakes that would be impossible for someone who actually traveled between them. The alternative theory that changes everything. So what really happened? The most compelling alternative theory suggests that Marco Polo never left the Black Sea region. Instead, he spent decades in Constantinople and Crimea, trading posts where Eastern and Western commerce converged. Here, he would have met countless travelers, merchants, and refugees from across Asia. These cosmopolitan trading centers were treasure troves of information. Persian merchants carried stories from India. Chinese diplomats shared court gossip. Mongol administrators discussed policy across the empire. A clever young man with a gift for languages could have assembled an encyclopedia of Asian knowledge without ever leaving the Mediterranean world. This theory explains both the remarkable accuracy of some details and the glaring errors in others. It accounts for why no Asian sources record his presence, yet why his book contains genuine information unavailable to other Europeans. Most importantly, it explains why a professional storyteller would be needed to craft this material into a compelling narrative, the legacy of doubt. Whether Marco Polo was history's greatest explorer or its most successful con artist may never be definitively resolved. But perhaps that's not the point. His account, real or fabricated, shattered European assumptions about the world beyond their borders. It inspired Columbus, who carried an annotated copy on his voyage to the Americas. It sparked the age of exploration that would reshape global civilization. The irony is perfect. A story that may have been largely fictional became the catalyst for very real historical transformation. Marco Polo's travels, whether genuine adventures or elaborate fantasies, changed the world more than most actual journeys ever could. In the end, we're left with one of history's greatest mysteries. Was Marco Polo a brave explorer who opened the East to Western eyes? Or was he a clever fraud who spawned second-hand stories into literary gold? The evidence points in both directions, creating a puzzle that has captivated scholars for 7 centuries. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the Marco Polo mystery is that it forces us to question not just what we know about medieval travel, but how we construct historical truth itself. In an age before photography, video, or independent verification, how do we separate facts from fiction? How do we distinguish between genuine eyewitness accounts and skillfully crafted deception? The teenager from Venice, who may never have seen China, created one of history's most influential books. Whether that makes him a pioneering explorer or a masterful storyteller, one thing remains certain. Marco Polo's impossible journey continues to challenge everything we think we know about the medieval world.